And now, live from Austin, Texas, Alex Jones.
Thank you for joining us. We have reached the halfway point in this syndicated broadcast today. I'm going to cover a host of very important news stories now. Coming up in 30 minutes, we're joined by Alex Newman of JBS.org, John Birch Society Magazine newspaper. Mumbai terrorist was U.S. agent. And, of course, that comes from the affidavit. Remember those terror attacks almost 2 years ago? Blamed on Pakistan. We told you at the time it was U.S., Israeli, and British intel. That even came out in Indian papers at the time. The head of counterterrorism in India was assassinated, was killed the day of these attacks. And he had been saying it was British, U.S., Israeli run. That's why that was originally there. Now, in fact, will you guys call Watson and have him send all the articles that Kurt and Watson wrote almost 2 years ago on that? Because I want to have all the names, and I can highlight it, the name of the counterterrorism head. Of course, they capped his butt good. He was there trying to stop it. But he couldn't go up against CIA, Mossad, MI6. I mean, you can't go up against their Muslim terror forces. I mean, they just continue to devastate everywhere. They attack the Russians. They attack 9/11. They attack everybody. Train bombings, everything. Sometimes they've got real Muslim nuts working for them. Usually it's just totally staged. All you can do is expose them. But we've got the affidavit. In fact, you printed me both copies, or it printed in two pieces. Oh, here it is. Here's the first piece. No, this is the indictment of the militia patsies. I'll find it. So we're going to be covering all of this. Also, I've mentioned it, but I want to get into it briefly again and explain why this is happening into the next phase. Fox News trolls InfoWars comments, reports Alex Jones to authorities, writes 2 front-page articles on FoxNews.com yesterday saying that I am a terrorist, basically, and that we're calling for violence and that we're associated with commenters that are doing it. Well, Paul Watson, in about 5 minutes, found Fox News correspondents calling for Obama to be killed, found people all over their articles and comments calling for Obama to be killed, something we're saying we're against. And I've noticed Glenn Beck's been saying 9/11 truthers are going to try to kill the president. And I know he copies my show and twists everything we do. And I know that from inside Fox because we have freedom lovers everywhere. But now it's clear they're trying to set me up while they themselves push the violence. So this is really going to a whole other level. With CNN doing investigations on me, supposedly creating some attack piece that was going to air Friday and then last night, with all these other big national publications attacking us 24/7. This is very, very, very serious what's going on. So we're going to be breaking all of that down as well. But the headline up at prisonplanet.com, perhaps Fox should check into its own website for violent comments. And Derek Einkoff, one of the sales guys, he went and looked on Fox site and found even more death threats and violence. And then he was on there today saying, look, you shouldn't call for violence. And they said, look, we'll kill you too. That's kind of like Mike Reagan could say, kill all 9/11 truthers, kill Mark Dice, I'll pay for the bullets, I'll meet you. There's a bounty on their head. The FBI said he's allowed to say kill people. He's allowed to say kill Mark Dice. We're getting together a bunch of screenshots to link up in the article. And Watson's changed the headline at my suggestion. Fox News calls for Obama to be killed while framing Alex Jones for instigating violence. And look, I'm not looking to fight with the controlled corporate press. When they write 2 big articles, put it in the terror section, and basically say I'm inciting terrorism, and then meanwhile they're the ones actually doing it, this is just too rich. This is just too much. It's absurdist, and we're going to expose it straight ahead. But first, the militias, then the frame up of all of the true conservatives and libertarians in this country. You want to know what's going to happen? We'll tell you.
For the first time ever, the secret agenda of the planet's ruthless superclass is exposed in stark detail.
You know, there is such a thing as insidious influence. Does it involve some sort of psychological domination?
No world order that elevates one nation or group of people over another will succeed. It's a phrase that I often use myself, that we needed a new world order.
So it's going to be an inner ruling elite and then everyone else. And I got news for you. You're everyone else.
The whole concept of New World Order, it really says that the state is God.
They created in all of the British dependencies what they call roundtable groups.
At a higher level of COG government, where the constitutional authorities are not allowed to go.
The New World Order really is a tool for addressing a new world of possibilities.
The people running this country are determined to destroy it.
Now 8 minutes into the third hour. Have two guests coming up and continuing with your phone calls. Give me a document cam shot right here, please. Thank you. Here is the indictment of the Hutaree Militia in Michigan. Looks like there were only really 7 members of this, most of them family members. Their brother has been on CNN, who lives in San Antonio, Texas, just south of where I sit, saying, look, he made a board game about fighting different enemies. They did all sorts of different scenarios. And it's the same thing as when the military trains with the Boy Scouts to, quote, take on disgruntled veterans. New York Times, here's that article, Scouts trained to fight terrorists and more. First line, taking out a disgruntled Iraq war veteran. That'd be like saying the Boy Scouts should be charged, the Explorer Scouts, for trying to kill veterans. And I've seen this over and over again. This is how the feds have always been able to set people up. I've seen it over and over and over again in Texas, in Michigan, in Florida, in Alabama, in California, in Nevada, in Arizona, in Oregon, in Washington State. They have a handbook they give their informants and agents. And they go in and say, we ought to do a drill in case the local police get taken over by the UN. We ought to go scout out the police department. And then they go and they take video of it. And they come back and have a meeting. And the Fed generally is the leader of the group by then because he's buying them guns and food. And, you know, they love him. And it may take him 2-3 years to get their trust. And, boy, they just love Bubba or whatever his name is. He's really, you know, a Southern Poverty Law Center trainee. Or he's an FBI agent. And then he says, we need to train to look at how we'd run an ambush like in the movie Red Dawn. We act like a car's broke down, and when the cop pulls up, we kill him. Right, Bill? Right, Jenny? Right, Tom? I guess so. I guess so, Bubba. Is that what we do? That's right. Now, let me hear your plan. Tell me how you would do that in this simulation. It's just a simulation, mind you, and they're recording the whole thing. And then one of the younger ones says, yeah, and then when the feds come to be part of the funeral, we'd have IEDs out there and we'd blow them up. Oh, that's a good idea. You sure are smart now. I had Pale Horse on, one of the people arrested, and they're saying there's members in the group now. I told you this Monday, I told you again Tuesday, and then the Wall Street Journal, I hadn't read it till last night, came out and said, yeah, there was an informant and someone else in the group who's been arrested, but they're going to let him go. I told you, they always stage. It's like the Mumbai thing. The leader was U.S. intelligence. And they're saying, well, we've got him, and we're going to probably let him go or look at him off with some lenience. That's only because it came out he was a Fed. And looking at these photographs, let's look at these photographs. Now, I've learned, this guy, obviously, dumber than a box of rocks, the leader. His son, dumber than a box of rocks. These people all look like, and I'm not trying to be mean, like they may be missing chromosomes. This guy, joke. This guy, we're going to get into him later, and I'm still doing investigations. Thomas William Flatek. we need to look very closely, because I've seen informants. I mean, I've had guys that look just like this try to set me. They look. This guy right here. And look, he doesn't even look too concerned there. These people are all wide-eyed. You can tell they're not too pleased about what's going on. Not in a jail uniform, as you notice. They said they had basically a staged arrest of one of their operatives inside. Now, we'll see if I'm right about this, but I had Pale Horse on, Sickles, in August of 17th going, if you're not a Fed, somebody's handling you and telling you to dress like that and use a voice changer. This comes right out of the ADL, what you're doing.